Tony, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go.
Tony, what should we ask you anything about?
I think it might be good to talk about people that are new to testing looking for work, because it's something that comes up in the London tester gatherings a lot. People, for some reason, think that I can find them work in an instant. I don't really know why.
But do they have experience, these people?
Some people have a little bit of experience, but again, it kind of depends on the kind of experience they have. And by that, I mean, if you've been somewhere for 5 years, that doesn't mean you've had 5 years of experience. You've just been there for 5 years. So it varies. The backgrounds vary. So, for example, one recent newcomer on the testing scene in London came from a healthcare background, and she was looking to break into testing. And she did that by coming to some of the tester gatherings, attending the software testing clinic, helped as well, and she recently found a new role. So I think that's one of the things that you have to do is, rather than going through recruitment agencies, because you'll have a tough time if you've got little or no experience, is getting out to the meetups, getting out to the events, meeting people, talking about what you're doing to practice your testing and learn, and meeting the right people. So it's going to take quite a few meetings and events, but eventually you'll meet some people that are more interested in what you're trying to learn than the experience that you've had if you don't have that much.
How do you recommend people practice testing? If somebody's new to testing, how do you say practice testing more?
So there's a couple of things you can do. Like, for example, you can sign up to UTest and use what skills you have to test whatever they have on offer if you meet their criteria. I've not looked, but I assume they still have a criteria. Or you can sign up, you go to the events, and some of them are around practicing your testing. So things like weekend testing or the software testing clinic. Or you can look for an open source project and just volunteer your services. Or there's also a lot of cheap kind of experiences or training experiences out there. Things like BBST. That's not a lot of money to do.
It's 100 something quid.
Yeah, 100
for 4 weeks worth of incredibly intense work.
Yeah, exactly. So there are avenues out there. It's just about getting out there and looking around. And a lot of it is just coming around, just talking to people as well. You'll learn a lot from just getting together and talking.
And what are you trying to do with the when you're suggesting these activities to new testers? Are you trying to make them more useful to a future employer, or more attractive to a future employer, or to give them a different set of skills? What?
I think it's just about trying to get them. I don't know if the right direction is the right phrase, but you don't want to put them into somewhere where there's going to be learning, becoming script monkeys. You don't want them to just sit there with this Excel spreadsheet, going pass. So I want to put them into more interesting places, and then they can make their own mind up as well once they're there, whether how far they want to take it or whether they want to or not.
So if someone does BBST and they got that on their CV, how that alone isn't going to make them stand out to the employer?
In fact, it won't help them, because most people will be looking for ICEP or whatever it's called now.
So how does someone stand out?
But that's what they have to get out to the meetups and the events and talk about.
The person recruiting isn't going to those events.
No, but that's my point, is that by going to those events you can also bypass the recruitment agencies and talk to people directly. So for example, we've all been to the London Tester Gathering or different events, and at one point or other we've all had to hire people. And then some of the time we've done that through the meetups and meeting people at these events. And that's going to be the easier way to get to the people that are really interested in testing.
So, as well as the events, is there anything you recommend that people read and study?
Well, obviously, all our blogs, of course, goes without saying. But there's plenty of stuff out there. Blog posts are probably the way to get to the most recent stuff. Twitter seems to have gone off rail a little bit, but there used to be a lot of decent links. There used to be a lot of links to articles and new books and stuff coming out. That would be a good way to keep up.
Yeah, some people only put that on their Twitter feed.
Yeah. And just browsing through things like LeanPub, you're always going to find something good. Or Pragmatic Books, I think it's called Pragmatic Books. But specific books, there's too many to mention. I don't want to as well show any favoritism, but there are plenty of books out there. And there are plenty
explore it.
There are plenty of blog posts with book lists as well, so have a look for them.
Yeah, part of the problem is perhaps there's too much stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So probably look for, there's going to be some names that you recognise in testing, or people that you've come across that you think have had interesting things to say, maybe have a look at the books that they've been reading, and then have a think about whether or not that kind of thing suits you, and try one of them.
So if someone comes up to you and says, currently I'm still doing mainframe rubbish and I want to do web agile.
Yeah.
What do they do?
Again, start going to some of the meetups and but must focusing on the learning events. So things like the software testing clinic, a lot of that stuff would be around web testing. You can pick out the sessions you want to go to as well.
So that happens once a week.
Yep.
They want to move faster than that.
Yeah. But then there's the U-test, there's the looking at the open source ones.
So U-test, they haven't qualified for any of the projects yet.
Let me answer. Calm down, relax a second. Have a look at just things like APIs. There are plenty of public APIs out there, and just start playing around with them. Or look at Alan Richardson's training material. There's plenty of stuff on there.
Discount
web
list.
testing.
Do you know how much it costs? $10.
But yeah, it's just a matter of finding the training material, and there's plenty of out there.
So they should do stuff.
Yes, practice essentially. Find stuff to do and do it, and keep doing it.
And so the only other thing I add when I'm talking to people is that they should attempt to tell people that they've done it and blog it.
Yeah,
and do something that tracks their learning online.
Exactly. And I don't know why I keep looking at the microphone. I don't. But
the audience is there.
Yeah,
they're there. But you can see them. Wave.
Yeah, I mean, I know some people live in, like, we live in London or close to London, and there are thousands of meetups every night, essentially. So if you don't live somewhere like London and there are none, then you make one, create one.
There's a surprising number of meetups going on outside town.
Yeah, they're getting more and more because people are starting to create them now.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
So what do you do? Just
very
create
active.
something on Meetup that says
you create something on Meetup, or I think I first started using LinkedIn events, but they stopped doing that now. But you put it on Meetup, use Twitter, get the word out there, and it'll start slow. I think the London Testing Gathering started with like 3 people, and now it ranges from 50 to 100 people. So it's a slow process, but it's worth doing. Especially, part of the reason I started London Testing Gathering was I found it hard to find work. So I thought, well, there must be a better way to do this. And I thought if I did this, then I would meet people. And some of these people would be looking to hire people. And I could bypass the recruitment agencies.
Yeah, and that got you a job at Channel 4.
It did. That was a few years later, but yeah, it did.
I'm always impressed by somebody who says I've been testing as a beta tester, or I've been testing on an open source project. Because I don't find that very often, even in people who've been in this industry for a while. You know, have you been on an open source project? If you're interested in a particular technology or a particular area of business, is there an open source project that is of interest to you? And you go and you can find bugs in open source things fairly quickly, even good ones. Because again, that's what we do on Black Ops. We take an open source project and we find problems.
I think it's important that people learn to write what they've learned up in a blog post, because people are nervous about it. People are nervous about going, but I don't know anything. You go, but you learned something. Yeah, but then it makes me look stupid because I didn't know it. And the whole point is, you're saying, I am advancing. I am moving on. Here's what I have learned.
Here's a quick blog post. If you are on an open source project and you find a bug, you log the bug. Bug is accepted, you've immediately got a blog post. You say, I got a bug accepted. Somebody's going to do this and they're going to fix it, and we're going to see how they fix it. And then you've got that thing on your blog. If you want to write about how you found it, even better. But that's a very sort of quick open entry.
It's a lot better than working for the likes of U-Test and the crowdsource people, because it's visible. So almost every CV I get from people new to testing says, I've been on U-Test for 6 months. But they can't show me anything that they've done, and I have no idea about the quality of their work. But if I was able to log into an open source bug tracker, I can see everything they did.
There are my bugs on GitHub. That's the ones that we responded to. This is how I responded to requests for more information. That's that's the bread and butter. So that's what we do. So.
Cool. So people should come to London Testing Gathering and ask you this question all the time.
Yeah, they already do, but keep coming. But no, find the closest meetup to get out there and just talk to people. That's your first step. And they'll point you in the direction to learn as well. And they may be writing their own bit of software that they can get you to test for them.
And they could passively observe that. What is it, testers.io Slack channel?
Yeah, and there are a number of Slack channels out there. There's a testers.io one. There may be a black testing one soon. And there's the Software Testing Club one. There's a number of them out there.
Cool.